As all professional auto mechanics know, and most consumers don't, there are two belts at the business end of an engine, formerly called the front of the engine until transverse engines confused the issue. There's usually a visible serpentine belt on the accessory drive, and behind a protective cover, an invisible timing belt on the timing drive. This explains how the timing belt has become known as the forgotten belt. Of course, if the timing belt is forgotten for too long, the vehicle will eventually come to a standstill, an event heralded by a noise that could be anything from a few backfires to fracturing metal sounds. The technical name for an engine making fracturing metal sounds is an interference engine. When a timing belt breaks, the split-second synchronization of engine parts is lost. When this happens, the design of these engines allows the valves in the cylinder head to interfere with the piston. When these hardened steel parts, moving at high RPMs, interfere with each other, it's not good. Valves can be bent or even broken off, possibly damaging the piston, cylinder, and often the crankshaft, severely damaging the engine. This potential damage and the resultant expensive repair is why it's important to check and follow the manufacturer's recommended replacement interval for the timing belt. Chances are good that your vehicle has an interference engine, since 70% of vehicles equipped with timing belts have them. But even if you don't have an interference engine, it's no fun when a timing belt breaks, prompting a costly and inconvenient tow. The best idea is to change the timing belt when indicated in the owner's manual. The typical manufacturer's interval for replacement is 60,000 miles or 96,000 kilometers. Current timing drives have more parts than they did in the good old days. Modern engines have anywhere from 1 to 4 camshafts run by the timing belt. Timing drives often have an automatic tensioner to maintain optimum tension on the belt at all times. More than 50% of today's vehicles also have the water pump driven by the timing belt. Finally, to help direct the path of the timing belt, there's an idler pulley or two. Let's face it, there's a lot happening under that cover that's hiding the forgotten belt. Let's talk about that cover for just a minute. First of all, it's behind the accessory belt drive, which must be removed. The cover, in addition to hiding the forgotten belt, more importantly keeps out dirt, gunk, and assorted crud. The downside to this is that its position at the business end of an engine makes it difficult to access and remove in order to change the timing belt. If it's a transverse engine, the difficulty factor is multiplied. Bottom line, the labor charge for changing a timing belt is not a small one. Looking at our timing drive once more, let's revisit the tensioner, water pump, and idler pulleys. These hardware parts have been running for as long as the timing belt, say 60,000 miles, under the same, often extreme conditions. These few hardware parts are not that expensive. In fact, their cost is negligible compared to the labor cost of removing everything necessary to gain access to the timing drive. That's why many manufacturers recommend that the hardware items be replaced along with the timing belt. Replacing the hardware components makes sense for another even more compelling reason. If the hardware is not replaced with the belt, the life of the newly replaced timing belt can be reduced by as much as 50%, a costly and needless expense, especially with interference engines. As usual, Dayco is leading the way with product lines to make a timing drive replacement as quick and simple as humanly possible. The timing belt is available in its own box. One belt fits many applications. The timing component kit has application-specific hardware only, no belt. Next, the timing belt kit includes the belt and hardware package together in one application-specific box. Finally, there's the Dayco timing belt water pump kit, which, not surprisingly, includes a belt and the water pump, along with other hardware. The hardware kits contain all the quality parts needed to do a complete timing belt and hardware changeover for your vehicle, including installation instructions. Dayco backs its kits with a warranty that matches the manufacturer's original mileage recommendations for timing belt replacement if all the kit parts are installed. Whatever you drive, trust Dayco to make your timing drive as good as new when it comes time for the forgotten belt to see the light of day.